Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of the Weekly Review. My name is Mike Larkin, and by my side, as always, is the dead man of RWT Raw Wrestling Talk, Mr. Paul Morales. Paul, what an eventful week as always. How you doing, my brother?
Always an eventful week, and I'd like to start off by congratulating my daughter. She graduated yesterday. She is officially a forensic tech, so I am proud of her, and congratulations, Sai. I love you. But yes, I am doing good, and yes, this has been an eventful week, and yes, we have a lot of news to cover, so let's go.
And congratulations, Miss Sai. Absolutely wonderful to see Paul's daughter graduating and doing the thing on this journey that we call life. And speaking of life, life has not hit this person very well. Life is a gas, but that gas has passed, to quote Dino Spumoni from Hey Arnold. Woo! Ric Flair, middle of the day. Oh, my goodness. Space Mountain, he got into it, man. And I'm just going to pull it up right here with the video. It's from Cultaholic Wrestling. Then we'll get to the manager's side, his side, their side. Oh, my Lord. What a time for Ric Flair. So Ric Flair is considering a lawsuit following a video of him being kicked out of Paisanos, a restaurant in Florida, leaked online. I'm like, I don't shake hands or take photos in bathrooms. Any man that goes into a bathroom knows you could see me into the stall. I said, get your ass off there. I need to use the restroom. I'll be quite honest with you. I was pissed because I didn't do anything wrong. It's my word against the kitchen employee, and it makes no sense. I admit to everything I said. I have no problem with it because I was mad. I have the money to buy the restaurant. It'll be called Ric Flair's Italian Bistro. Flair has said he is considering filing a lawsuit against them. Look at that man just yelling at him. Oh, and we'll put the full video in here too as well, but good Lord. Ric Flair, what are you doing, Rick? Like, you start with you on this, man, because what are you doing? What are you doing?
That's why I said, before we had actually came on to this, I was telling you that it's interesting how you have so many different stories kind of trying to bring together this one incident. So you had one person who was talking about he walked into the bathroom that somebody followed him in, wanted a picture with him, and you could hear Rick kind of telling him from the door, because it was still a little open. He was telling the dude, hey, can you just wait outside? And then all of a sudden, I think the dude was either already a little impatient. I would say he was impatient. Might have had a few in him, might have not. Rick already had a few in him, which you can kind of hear him slurring pretty much throughout the whole video. And it just seemed like he was very, very irritated, to say the least.
Now, I do have the video here. Are you ready to watch Flair style and profile as only Ric Flair?
Yes, I can. Yes, I am.
Ooh, here we go.
Yeah, good. Well, I didn't do it wrong, except spend money and put this place over and bring my family and friends here. That is bad for you.
Why would it be bad for me?
Well, watch social media tomorrow.
I don't follow social media.
Well, you better.
I don't get stuck with my phone.
What's your name, that job?
Nicholas.
Nicholas what?
Hold on.
Nicholas Dickhead.
You don't have to call me like that, sir.
Don't ever talk.
You don't have to call me like that, sir.
You don't have to do this to me. If you really me and my family.
I'm not from you.
I didn't do one thing wrong. I walked into a bathroom.
And you cussed at my kitchen manager.
You're a kid high class. Really? What world do you live in?
The same world you
What
live
world do you live in? How did I cost him? Did I touch him?
Cussing, you said cuss word.
I never said a cuss word. Is that his word against yours? I didn't say one cuss word.
Okay.
Okay, we're good. Let's go.
God. No, ma'am, I'm going to give you $1,000 tip just to say to him, kiss my ass. And you walk outside
You
here.
don't have to be disrespectful to me, sir. We're being
I know. You're disrespecting me.
How am I disrespectful?
Telling me to leave.
I'm not telling you to leave. We're just telling you that you're cut off.
Oh, I'm cut off and I'm not? Really?
Yes, sir. It don't matter if you're famous or not. It's the
Here,
same
ma'am.
experience.
That man, ma'am. Ma'am, please give yourself $1,000 tip.
All right, I'll let me do it.
$1,000 tip. This guy and I are so cool. She and I are cool. And along comes dipshit.
You don't have to call me that, guys.
I just said it.
I never did.
I'll say it again. You're a dipshit.
You have to get out of here right now.
Oh, I'm leaving. Trust me.
Oh, man.
Come back again.
Thank God.
Come outside here and talk to me like a man.
I'm not going to do that because I'm on the clock.
You push you on. You're on the pussy clock.
Go outside if you want.
Oscar, stop.
Hey, you want to go out in the parking lot? I said, I don't work here. I don't give a shit. Don't talk to me. That's not good.
What's that?
You heard me.
What's that?
No, sir. Please stop. Please stop. Okay?
What did you say to me? What did you say to me?
Excuse me.
Oh, I brought my whole family here.
I need one of those little bar straws to get straight.
Do you know how many?
Just one.
Just one.
I'm not mad. I have no reason to be mad.
The fact of the matter is Hall & Oates is playing in the background. I can't go for that, which is hilarious during this whole entire thing. But Rick, you dipshit, you're cool. Ma'am, I'll give you $1,000 tip. Tell him to kiss my ass. And then the guy at the end didn't help himself. He's like, well, I'm not on the clock. I'm not working. Why don't you step outside and find me in the parking lot? Just, oh, my God, what a mess.
How old is Ric Flair again? Ric Flair's like 11, right?
75.
11. I'm close enough. Close enough. 75, but you know, this man is like somewhat in shape. Somewhat. But dude, I mean, can he give me $1,000 tip? I'll be happy.
Yeah. I'll tell him
Look, this whole thing was just hilarious from beginning to end. Cause you had, like I said, somebody said that he was perfectly fine, that he just asked the guy, can you wait outside while I take a piss? Then it kind of escalated to where now mind you, he's probably a little intoxicated, probably already has a few inside of him. And he's like, and you can hear it in his voice. You can hear it where he's like, I'm a little inebriated. If he's giving away $1,000 tips to, you know, a waitress, I mean, that's different because, you know, it's Ric Flair and, you know, he's probably a little, you know, generous like that. But still, the fact is that he went out there. He did all this. You got people that have cell phones that take videos and can see it. You know, it's not like it's rocket science. Even being drunk, he should know this. So, but you have a lot of different people who are kind of corroborating his what he said, a lot of what he said. So it's frustrating that, you know, this has to happen and it's this way. And obviously he did a post where he was telling everybody don't go there because the manager is a piece of shit and so on and so forth. And yeah.
So this brings us to our post. I spent $1,500 at Pisano's to be disrespected more than I ever have in my entire life. After taking 20 pictures with customers and staff, I was asked to leave because of an issue I had with the kitchen manager taking too long in the bathroom. I would highly recommend that anyone who wants to enjoy relaxing time in Gainesville at a nice restaurant to never visit this place. Woo! Ended it with the woo. Then Frederick von Schnerzenpfeffer, Frederick, whatever his name is. I am the manager at Paisano's, sister location off Archer. Mr. Flair was being drunk and disorderly. He wooed directly into a black grandmother's face. After being confronted, he picked up furniture and swung it menacingly. We love Rick, but he was boogered.
But again, but then again, I go back to, did it have to escalate to that? Could you have not? And now I've worked in a restaurant before, and I know this is how it is. The customer is always right.
Right.
And you always have to try your best to have the best customer service, even with rude people. You know, you have to give them the benefit of the doubt and just say, okay, yes, we'll do this, we'll do that, get them out of there. Boom, they're out. Instead, you get this guy that wanted to just like, let me keep saying, let me keep reiterating, let me keep doing it, let me keep doing that. And it's like, you could have just or easily just said, okay, Mr. Flair, I understand. Okay, we will do better next time. I apologize. Give him an apology. Send him on his way. Period. Am I wrong?
No, I think with this matter too as well. First of all, if that is legit the manager, that is funny that he tweeted that. But also at the same time, man, like you saw him at the bar, like the dude was trying to tell him, like, Flair, Mr. Flair, we're not trying to tell you to leave. We're just saying you're cut off because you've had too many to drink. Like, we're trying to cut you off, sir. Like, you're causing a scene, you're causing a ruckus. And he was trying to do it in the nicest way possible. He's like, sir, you don't have to curse at me. Like, he was doing the benefit, like you mentioned, the benefit of the doubt. He was handling it properly. Rick is just gonna be Rick. He can't help himself as far as drinking. He's a 75-year-old man who don't give a shit. I mean, it's Ric Flair. What you see is what you get with that man, unfortunately. He still thinks
and
like
that's, I mean, and like I said, I mean, it's, yeah, I mean, he's, if that was the manager or if it was the kitchen manager or whoever it was, I mean, just, it would have been, and I've dealt with drunk people before, even outside of an establishment. I've dealt with drunk people. I used to do security at a bar. Believe me, I know what it's like. And I know what it's like to have to deal with drunk people and trying to get them to calm down and trying to get them to see it their way or your way and just send them on their way. Whether it's in a car, in a taxi, however. You just have to be able to just kind of say, even Ric Flair, you have to be able to just say, okay, yes, I was wrong. Yes, this, blah, blah, blah. But no, we're not going to give you any more alcohol. I'm sorry, but if you would like to, there's another establishment down the street. That probably would have been a hell of a lot better than that.
Yeah. But it's unfortunate. I mean, when I saw this, did I laugh at, him calling him a dipshit and $1,000 tip did kiss my ass? Yes. But at the same time, it's just sad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I also thought it was sad when him and Sting were like, me and the Stinger, 18 and over down at the hotel. I'm like, Rick, you're 75. Stop it. This is not 1989 anymore.
You know, he could take that Viagra.
Ugh.
You know, he could take that Viagra. You know, that's Cialis, you know.
Oh,
Blue Chew. Blue Chew. Sign up for Blue Chew. Sign up. Denise. Use the name Denise Salcedo. You know, and she's been telling that too. So yeah, use Denise as your promo code and you'll get like 20% off. So there's your Blue Chew. Look, I already got a sponsor for us from Blue Chew. See, look.
See?
I'm doing good already.
Absolutely. Get us some healthy mail, goddammit. We're all up in the mix.
I know, exactly. Don't worry, I'll get some and then I'll let you know how it works.
Well, let me tell you how things work. When you take a pile driver, you're supposed to sell it. You're not supposed to get the fuck back up, man. So this leads us to Bully Ray on Busted Open Radio talking about Orange Cassidy versus Trent Beretta from this past Wednesday's Dynamite. It ended with Orange Cassidy getting the win. The turnbuckle being exposed for Trent backfired on him. Then he attacks him after the match. The pile driver on the stairs, which a normal person would be stretchered out. But no, Orange Cassidy is Inda struck the ball like Disturbed. And he got back right on up. And then the whole Don Callis thing happened. And, well, Bully Ray has something to say.
But we're to believe he's indestructible? Even the most indestructibles of indestructibles should not be able to withstand that. Orange Cassidy should have been stretchered out, neck in a brace, whatever. Not on his feet and not defending himself. I'm sorry, folks. This is where AEW needs a lot of help. Here is my constructive criticism on that particular moment in time and that story. Don't ever do it again. It's wrong.
He is absolutely right. How is it you're going to do this spot and no sell it whatsoever? I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me because it would have made more sense had he sold it, got on been stretchered out. It would have helped the storyline and helped that build of Trent Beretta. I mean, it mind boggles me that Tony had allowed this. The Young Bucks allowed it to happen. This is like 101. This is like selling 101. You sell it, you get out, you have them carry you out. He didn't have to have, I mean, he could have had all the bells and whistles, stretcher and everything. Yes. Hell, they could have backed up an ambulance coming into the arena, so it made it legit. I mean, come on now. We look at throughout the years of every time something has happened. The Rock, Shamrock, boom. What happened? Shamrock laid there looking like he was like out of it. Stone Cold taking a freaking a chair to the back of the head, almost looked like he was dead.
Mm-hmm.
Vince McMahon taking a stunner, looking like he was doing convulsions in the middle of the ring,
flopping around like a fish.
Flopping around like a fish. Yeah, exactly. I'll even do one better. When Brock Lesnar freaking superplexed the Big Show, the whole ring collapsed, and they were laying there like they were laying there and sold it.
Yep, we went right off the air with that. They didn't even move.
And exactly, then you go off the air with it. It doesn't make any sense to me as to why this particular moment could not have been sold. Doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
It makes no sense because Tony Khan is just, he loves him some Orange Cassidy. He put his hands in his pockets like Alanis Morissette. We've seen him dress like Orange Cassidy. He's not indestructible. He's a $150, soaking wet, and just, it made no sense to anything in the story. It doesn't add to it. It just sounds like, oh, he can just pop right back up. Like he took a pile driver on his steps, but I don't know. And I'll be honest with you, this feud thus far, I really can't get into it because it's supposed to tease like Orange Cassidy's going to be with Don Callis when we know damn well that Trent Beretta is going to be the one who's going to be in the Don Callis family. Like
that's another thing. What the hell is Don Callis doing there? I can again back to I understand had Orange Cassidy not left with Don Callis, it would have made a little bit more sense. Had Don Callis gotten in the ring with Trent Beretta, again, selling it, and then, you know, him having the conversation with him, talking with him, again, something that would have made more sense. Way more sense.
I mean, they've been doing this, like he's been wanting to, he like came out around when Orange Cassidy and Trent were brawling and stuff, but it's just like, we know damn well that he's trying to get Trent Beretta. Like after the parking lot brawl, he watched in the monitor backstage. I'm just like, the next thing you want to do for Trent Beretta is go from that to the Don Callis family because Powerhouse Hobbs is injured, so we're going to add somebody else. You know, you already got Kyle Fletcher, who is just whatever. I mean, you got Will Ospreay, sort of, kind of, still, who knows? Like, he's the only babyface in the group. You're bringing in Jeff Cobb this week to him and Kyle Fletcher to take on Moxley and Claudio, but it's like, well, whatever. Like, I'm sorry, like I can't get into this. And you bring in Chris Statlander, who's involved with Willow Nightingale in that, but oh, she's a member of the Best Friends and the Chaos in New Japan, so we got to make sure that Orange is okay. So you're kind of intertwining storylines, and it's just like whatever. Like that's how I feel with this thus far. It came out of nowhere, but it's like you mentioned, it's very sporadic with how they do these storylines. Like you're putting Don Callis involved in this, Chris Statlander's involved in this, and it's like whatever. And I hate to be
back to none of it makes sense.
It makes zero sense. But what does make sense is Randy Orton at the airport talking about the French crowd. And oh my goodness, people in Leon, y'all were nuts.
Buddy, good to see you, my friend. How are you, man? Good to see you, man. How's everything, right? You looking good, my friend?
Oh, thanks.
How are the crowds overseas compared to America? Because I saw it on TV. I mean, it looks amazing, incredible. Do you feel a difference? Like, how is the vibe there compared to? I've never been to an international show.
Do you want me to be honest?
Yeah.
Night and day.
Why?
Because, I mean, well, let's just put it this way. Since 2009, I've had the same entrance song. No American crowd has ever sang along. It's my song.
Yeah.
And they did it in France 3 nights in a row. Shit, we were in Bologna, Italy, and Vienna, Austria, the first 2 shows of the tour. And I could hear them singing there too.
Yeah.
France, just it was mind blowing. But just as an example.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were very happy to be there. A
were on their feet the whole time. They knew all of us, all of our characters well enough to they knew what they wanted to expect. We gave it to them. It just made it for an amazing environment. I hope we do more PLEs over there.
Yeah.
Man said
You know,
it best.
we get fans here that sing Cody's song. That used to, you get the people in AEW that sing the Judas by Fozzy.
Yeah.
You know, you get certain songs just have that attraction to people, and it's not like every song. And I'm not saying that every theme is the exact same way. You can get actually, you know what? You can actually go north of the border to Canada, and you hear them doing Sami Zayn's, you hear them doing Randy Orton's, you hear them doing Cody's. If it's catchy, they'll sing it. And just this crowd in Lyon just blew everybody away. And like Randy said, it was all the overseas crowds in Italy, in France, you know, in Austria, you know, those are the fans. Those are, and I'm not saying that they're better, more, bigger, better, or anything else than people here in the US, but I think and I have to say this because this is really, really true. Did you know that, you know how over there, whenever there's a 2 count, everybody says 2.
Yes.
You know, when they say 1, 2, and then as soon as they get their arm up, everybody goes 2. Or
Yep.
if they introduce them, this match is scheduled for 1 fall, and you'll hear everybody go 1 fall. So, but you know that Vince hated that.
Oh yeah.
Vince hated it because he used to try and he hated it so much that he would tell his announcers, tell the ring announcers, tell the music people to just kind of like edit it out, or they would tell them try and do it as fast as possible so the crowd doesn't get into it. And that's and I can guarantee you, if you go back through the history of like WWF and WWE in the beginning, and you can see how the ring announcers are, from Howard Finkel, even him, they weren't used to it. So when you go over to Europe and you go over to Asia and you hear like the crowds, and I think a lot of Asian crowds are a little bit different. I mean, you hear the stories about the people in Japan, how they're very, very timid, how they're very, very quiet, you know, when things are going on in the crowd. I mean, you could hear a pin drop. They're not as vocal as the people in Europe, as the people in England and Italy and France and you know, just Europe in general. Even Becky was saying that they did the same thing, and she reiterated the exact same thing that Randy said about them being in Ireland, you know, and the crowds just being, you feel that energy. And you know what? It's good to see it, and I really wish that WWE, and I mean more wrestling companies, would allow fans to just participate. And if that's the change that we needed, and I think on Monday we actually had a little bit of more of a reaction. On Friday night SmackDown, we got to see a little bit more of a reaction from the fans, you know, when Cody came out.
Oh yeah, and I think when the fans are singing Randy Orton's theme song now in the States, because oh my God, look at France. And I mean, we're going with these international markets, and I mean, they don't get it a lot. I mean, Austria was very hyped to see their homeboy Gunther. I mean, there was a lot of great talents that we saw in the overseas stars. Overseas have already been big when you look at back, and they were the Rebellion and the Insurrection pay-per-views. And I think this is just another testament of what we get to see. It's like when Raw in 2007, when the Milan Miracle happened, when Santino beat Umaga, like the Italy fans went nuts because there was a Raw from Italy. When they did Japan in 2005, the Japanese crowd was ecstatic to have a live Raw from that, you know, from Japan. So you're getting to see more.
Even in England, in England, when they had Cena versus Shawn Michaels,
yes,
that crowd was fire. That crowd was, see, and this is something that Vince should love. This is, I mean, you want that energy from the crowd. You don't want them to be there for 2 hours and be like
sitting on your hands.
And then you can hear the people talking that are behind the announcers. That's the worst part, is when you can hear them talking, just bantering back and forth. Oh, hey, blah, 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 and then you hear it on the microphones. That's not what you want. You want the crowds you want the energy from the wrestlers, and you want to give them that energy back. I mean, it makes more sense. And I'm hoping that in the future, if Friday Night SmackDown was showed anything, and that would be it.
I'm right there with you. And first of all, now I got to go back and watch Shawn Michaels and John Cena. For those who've never seen it from 07, it's right after WrestleMania, the 55-minute classic that was that match. My goodness.
I am going to say, this is probably the only time you'll ever hear me say this. This is probably the one time I will say that was a 5-star match by John Cena.
Ooh, okay. You know what? I'm not even going to argue with that, because
you got John Cena for 55 minutes, and you got him 55 minutes with the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels. Mm-hmm. We know that man can go. The fact that we got John Cena for 55 minutes.
Yep. No,
that was, and he put on a show. Even he did things that he doesn't normally do.
That's something for us.
The suplex off the top rope.
Yes, that's actually something to dive into. You have got
the leg drop from the top rope.
The old,
and he was doing things. He was doing things that he didn't. Because he wanted to get Michaels out. He wanted to end the match, and so he was pulling everything out of his trick bag in the back. He was like, "I got to do something different." So he pulled everything out. Everything they trained him with. Shoot, he tried it.
That's actually going to be an idea for a special watch along to react and watch that match back. I like your
style.
We
could do it. We could do it. We can get some people up in here and watch that. We got to do that one.
Oh, we definitely do. And I think when you look at the crowd too, like we talk about how the more the PLEs, they went to France. Now we're going to Scotland. We're going to Saudi Arabia. Like, that's going to be fire, these next international pay-per-views. And we'll get to SmackDown and NXT in today's forum, as well as AEW, because we did mention Orange Cassidy and Trent Beretta, but something else did happen on that show, which we'll get to here in a sec. But I'd like to go to the next topic, which is the one, the only Miss Sky Blue, which this was a big topic of the week because of a certain gentleman, and we're going to put his face on here because this son of a bitch. All right, here we go. We're gonna go here. I'm going to click here as I've sent to you. Here is this gentleman right here. This gentleman that Paige was pointing to, this was during the Mariah May Harley Cameron match. This gentleman right here, along with the kid. You can see the kids right here. That is just horrible, because he was, he was just saying insults, veil insults, and the fact that this was just happening was absolutely awful and degrading to the superstars at this time period. So let's read the article about what happened. This is from Squared Circle. A man in the front row continued to make vulgar comments about Sky, commenting on her body, calling her baby girl, the whole shebang. The whole match wouldn't stop when people around him told him to shut the fuck up. He just got louder. Aubrey Edwards finishes reffing the match and screams for him to be kicked out to security. Both AEW security and arena security were involved. More people were called when he put up a fight. He had a child with him. Sky left the ring quickly and was very upset. Really awful thing to observe in 2024. And yeah, it's horrible to see something like this just go down. And then we get Sky Blue's tweet of, "I'm beyond overwhelmed with all the love and support. Thank you, everyone. You have no idea how much it's appreciated. Let's make sure the future generations of women wrestlers who don't have to deal with this shit." And she got like praise from everybody. Chelsea Green got involved. Saraya got involved. So many people got involved to defend the one and only Miss Sky Blue. It has just become so amazing just to see the outpour and the outcry of people. For example, like I mentioned here, Sky Blue, we have so many people, so many great fans. CSW Chicago Professional Wrestling, our boy Beer, shout out to Beer. Just everybody just was going and supporting Sky Blue. You love to see the fan interactions here with hearts, the love. It's unfortunate that we get to see a lot of this stuff in today's professional wrestling. So looking at these tweets and these overall support, what are your thoughts on the whole Sky Blue? We'll start with the derogatory comments before we get into the whole situation. Go ahead.
Well, I'll start with this. This is the exact same thing I reiterated a show or two ago. The stuff that happened to Alex, Queen of the Ring. You know, she got shit on because some dude decided to say some bullshit to her. Then Kayfabe got something too, and then it's like this happens, and it's like you get a bunch of fucking idiots that just can't seem to act right. Like it doesn't make sense. Like, dude, why? Like, are you fucking suffering from fucking from small dick syndrome, or is it just me? I mean, because dudes like this, that doesn't that should not fly. And the fact that it took so long into the match and for the match to complete before Saraya was there and Aubrey had to say something. Why? Why did it take that long? Why does it need to come to that point? When if you hear him the first time, and I get it, fans are going to say shit, fans are going to talk shit. But when he is continuing on and on and on, why was this dude not told, especially when people around him are irritated and telling him to shut the fuck up? Why is it that security could not come down and say, "Hey, look, escort him out"? That would have been a hell of a lot better than having to wait for this girl, waiting for Sky Blue to walk up the ramp, feeling like she was defeated, and feeling like shit. Why?
It reminds me of 5 years ago, dude. It's like when Sami Zayn, they were in wherever they were, like overseas, and this dude who was drunk called him a Canadian, word that rhymes with tag. And he got kicked out right away. He was being very homophobic and saying some crap towards Sami Zayn, and Sami Zayn and security got the guy out of the building. Like, stuff like that is just, it's not tolerable. Now, mind you, I was a kid when I first started going to Ring of Honor in 2005. There was a talent there named Lacey who has done Shimmer and a lot of independents at the time. One of the chants that they used to chant at her, being a heel to get under her skin, was "She's a crack whore." Now, mind you, the year was 2005. This is the year 2024. It was a different time period. As myself, as a 13-year-old kid, I would not chant that because I'm not going to chant that at a woman. It's just, again, it's respect, but I wouldn't do that regardless. I mean, we've seen it with ECW crowds. We've seen it in Ring of Honor crowds and independent wrestling crowds as a whole. But, I mean, it's 2024. Let's be better as people. And unfortunately, this certain circumstance had to happen. And unlike you mentioned here's Alex, Queen of the Ring. I'm torn with how I want to approach this subject that is circling around on Twitter today about the harassment that was seen last night on AEW. But I'm live on Twitch right now, so I'll say it there. Tune in if you care. Which, were you able to see her stream as well?
I should have recorded the spot where she had actually talked about it. I'm sorry I didn't, but okay. She did mention a little bit of it, and she did say that, that the harassment of individuals, we'll just say anybody in general with a female genders. We'll just say that because Giselle came to her defense. Jordan Grace came to her defense.
Yep.
I mean, literally every female wrestler that was and podcaster, content creator, for wrestling came to her defense and, literally blasted this dude. And you already showing his face and people are already spreading his face all around. And I feel sorry for this. If he came with kids, I feel sorry for his kids, and not in the sense that not in a bad way towards them, because I really, really hope and pray nobody takes this out on his kids, because it's not their fault. Their father's a fucking jackass and a fucking idiot and a moron all in fucking one, to be doing this shit in front of his kids and in front of kids that were right there at ringside.
Now, this was a very controversial tweet. There was a couple of them. Chicks Kick Ass had a tweet, and that dude is no longer on Twitter because of the backlash he got. Oh, my goodness. But this was another one, the anti-smarker pro wrestling. Some fatherly advice for Sky Blue and all female wrestlers: stop showing so much ass. Try to look more like a fighter than a stripper. The fishnets are fucking corny. You're making these nerds feel comfortable. The Instagram thirst traps, the OnlyFans, and anything like that is enabling them to think they're a piece of meat. You fucking snowflakes think this is bad. I'll ask black wrestlers what they had to deal with back in the days. I'm not making any excuses, just pointing out the obvious so you can go fuck yourselves. Feminism wasn't about y'all having a fair shot at doing what men did with no discrimination, not about showing more ass. Paul, thoughts?
Yeah, you can go fuck yourself.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Like, again, like, why do we have to, like, first of all, we're men. We respect and love women, but also at the same time, we're not going there to be We're there to enjoy professional wrestling. We're here to watch men and women, talented wrestlers and talented individuals put on a show and tell a story. We're not just sitting there like that. Are they attractive women? Yes, but like, hello, people. We can control our urges, or we could be normal, professional human being and not like a fucking perv. You know what I'm saying? It's stuff like that.
Woman over my shoulder right here. This woman right here, I love her to death, but I'm not going to go over there and tell Naya, fuck, you're hot. Fuck, you're gorgeous. Fuck, you're sexy. Damn, girl, give me all that. Hell no. And she gonna turn around and whoop my ass. You know how all 97 of her damn family members. Shout out to Bully Ray for that one, because she got about 97 family members in her damn family. So 97 cousins. Sorry, my bad. Bully Ray, I better get that right? Because if not, you're gonna come and kick my ass. But you get what I'm saying, though, is like you don't need to go over there and do that shit to anybody. Yeah, is she beautiful? Yes. Is she sexy? Yes. Is she everything that you probably would want in a woman? Yes. But I go back to all those TikTok videos of we're female wrestlers. This is what we have to deal with. This is the stuff we have to deal with. You know, unsolicited dick pics. This is what we have to deal with, you know, and over and over and over again. Back, you know what? What if it was? I mean, I'm not saying that dudes don't get
horny
vag pics. No, I'm saying male wrestlers don't get vag pics thrown at them, you know, from girls, and they don't get, you know,
underwear
tit pics from women. I'm certain that they do, but it's like it's either harassment is harassment, no matter which way you want to look at it. I mean, you can't, there are levels to it, and there is a separation between men and women, and that's just the way society is. But you just don't do this to women. I'm sorry. You just don't do this. You don't do that. That right there, that's some bullshit. And that motherfucker, I hope that motherfucker gets his ass beat.
Agreed,
sorry for all the 4-letter words, but you know, my apologies to any young kids in the audience that I am cussing.
No, you're fine, dude. I mean,
viewer discretion is advised.
I mean, I've heard so many things. Like, I'm gonna go back to Ring of Honor. There was that wrestler Bobby Dempsey and Eric Dempsey. They were a brother tag team. One was skinny and the other one was a larger gentleman. He, as a heel, he goes to the girl who's wearing an Abercrombie and Fitch shirt, and number 21 on it. Right? He goes, "Hey, honey, is that your age, or is that the number of dicks that you sucked?" Again, 2005. Wrong, but got heel heat. This was what pisses me off about it. Again, it's like the guys that go and just want to hug the wrestlers because, oh my God, I got to hug a woman. It's that mindset. It's that ridiculous. They take it over the top, and there's always someone that ruins it for everybody. And it's these type of people that I showed up on the screen here today that ruins it for everybody. Be better, people.
This isn't about cancel culture. This isn't about that. This is just respecting the women that are out there. This is respecting the wrestlers that are out there, and you know, and just that's it. And respecting the women who do podcasts, who do content who create content for people. Them too. This should be a safe space for them, and people should just respect them. Period.
It's like,
I'm still not gonna get her 97 cousins to come after me if I say something to her.
It's like Aretha Franklin.
I love you, Naya.
It's like this son of a gun. It's like Aretha Franklin once sang, "RESPCT, find out what it means to me." How it is. But yes, show some respect and be professionals, people. And speaking of professionals, oh my goodness, a lot has happened with the Tonga twins. Wow, women of wrestling. You hardly ever hear a doggone bad thing. Oh my goodness. The Tonga twins have pretty much went out on Twitter, went on Instagram saying, "We're done with WoW." And they wrote, "Respect to the Queen, Jeannie Buss, but this has nothing to do with her. I will speak when we are ready, but please respect us and not ask us for interviews at this time. Much love." Because you know some fools are going to go out there and want to get the hot take on this and ask for interviews and talk about this.
And what happened?
They started asking for interviews.
And then you got women who are in WoW, and then of course you got other people that are backstage that all of a sudden want to decide to open their mouths. And
Here we go. Here we go. We'll start with this one. So this is Heidi Howitzer, Thunderdome style from WoW. WoW can be criticized for many things, but these women stating they'll speak out for the other girls only receive favoritism while bullying and injuring others the entire time crying sisterhood. I went to the ER due to their negligence and improper training. And then we got Simone Williams, better known as WoW Women of Wrestling champion Prince Aussie, and we'll show the Tonga twins responding to this as well. So we'll start here with her tweet was, "This is what happens when you give people the world and push them to the stars when it's not earned or deserved. WoW has many flaws and has had a ton of growing pains with good and bad decisions along the way, but what's happening right now is not right. The Tonga twins were let go. They did not quit. The Tonga twins were called out because of their own actions of bullying talent, threatening talent, and acting off brand online, all of which is documented and hopefully for their sake doesn't make it online. Women's empowerment isn't about burning a company down and taking everyone's jobs away from them because you didn't like being told no. When just hours before being let go, you're sending locker room leader motivational speeches in a company-wide group chat. WoW is a long way to go, that's clear, but I'll be damned if I let the ego of two very well-treated and pushed down speak on our behalf out of spite." Now, this is where the Tonga twins get involved in all of this, so here we go. We'll go to their tweets next.
No, it was right below it.
I know it's coming. I have there's a screenshot.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. My bad. My bad.
So Heidi Howitzer goes, "Love you. I wasn't in a place I could say anything, but I refuse to let them act like they were wronged when they were responsible for so much toxicity." And then Simone Williams with the heart emoji. "Well, hello, Twitter fingers. False. We know our truth. You could have just called and asked, explain why, if we were bullying, explain why the writer of the company read your confidential emails and left. Not only yours, your partner. Don't be scared to stand up for what's right. There's a whole locker room who spoke up, but the truth will come soon. I hope they give you the belt back that you deserve. Remember, we had your back and wanted you to win a belt too. Go cry for a belt now. Thanks." And then after this, "Don't ever try to tell our story, princess, but thank you for trying. Speak your own truth. P.S. Keep my family name out your mouth." Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. You go ahead first on this one, then I'll get into it.
Hold on. Cat fight.
Cat fight.
You know, I love Princess Aussie because, and I've had a few back and forths with her with a few posts that she made when she became WoW when she became WoW champion. I had a couple of back and forths with her, and you know, it being a fan of wrestling in general. This isn't just a specific company because I'm kind of one to I started doing the whole clicking and finding stuff on YouTube and, you know, finding different wrestling companies and just trying to see what else is out there. I'm one of those people. I like to see what else is out there because I know it's not just specifically WWE. I'm not on that island of WWE. I like AEW. Don't like the stories. You already know.
Mm-hmm.
Don't like the stories. But I love the wrestling. So I'll get that out of the way. But I like Defy. I like New Japan. I like New Japan Strong. But I also like Progress. I also like I also like WoW. I like Stardom. You know, these are just names that are coming off the top of my head. But I like looking at other things. I like finding other wrestling companies, and Princess Aussie was just really, really sweet, really, really awesome with me, and we had a quick little banter back and forth on a tweet. So this, if anything is going on there, I know it's going to come out eventually. So it's kind of like a she said, you know, kind of thing. So we just got to kind of. It's obviously it's not on Jeannie. Jeannie Buss is not the problem. But whatever is going on there that they left, and it's not what everything is that is being said, we won't know. We won't know until, because again, you got one person's perspective, or you got the truth, the lie, and then you got the honest truth right in the middle, somewhere in between there. So
it's interesting.
He said, she said, or in this case, she said, she said. You know, we won't know.
It's interesting to me because the last time really WoW was really in the forefront was when they fired Tessa Blanchard for her tenure. So for me, it's not Jeannie Buss. I don't know what's going on with Dave McClain and all that stuff. We don't know about that side, but I think it's very interesting to see all this into the forefront. I mean, we don't know, but I think at the time, and this is where I get on people, like we talk about fans, like, and podcasters in general, like we do. And, you know, I've interviewed a lot of people, but if like folks, let them have their yes, just a few. Give people their space. Like, don't go doing that, man. Like, let them just have some time. Like, you know, and I look at it like this, man. We're going to find out in due time. Just let it all just, you know, simmer for right now, and we'll see what happens. I know that, well, this is also the day and age, and also kind of frustrates me because everybody has to put everybody on blast on social media. Nothing's private anymore. We have to put out the quote-unquote receipts to everything, and it's ridiculous, but this is the day and age that we are in, so we shall see where the WoW situation, go from where it does go from here, and where we are going to go from here. Before we get into the NXT, AEW, and SmackDown talk, we have one final one. This is from Wrestle News, and this is about the whole Triple H thing and the reporter and everything. Here we go.
As soon as I sent my question to Triple H, said to me, "What a dumb thing to do," and so I knew there was going to be backlash online, but I wasn't.
Somebody from WPR said that was. Sorry, Lucas. Somebody from WPR said that was a dumb thing to do, to ask your question.
Yeah, right after I asked it, he looked at me and said, "What a dumb thing to do."
Wow, that's very discouraging. That's very disappointing.
Yeah, that was the reporter that asked that question to Triple H about Fightful and PW Insider and the Ronda Rousey Drew Gulak thing. Your thoughts on him pretty much being told it was a dumb thing to do?
Yeah, but you know what? It's not. You know, we always want to ask the hard-hitting questions. And you know that there's always somebody in the presser that wants to ask a question, but they don't want to be like that guy. They don't want to be like, have anybody tell them, no, you shouldn't do this. No, you shouldn't do that. And I think the last time, I think back after Royal Rumble was when Triple H was asked about Vince, and he was kind of caught off guard because he wasn't expecting it. But you have to expect this now. This isn't this. If you're trying to change the culture of WWE, you have to be able to answer these questions, because we as fans, not only because we're content creators, but we want to know these things because we want to know your perception of what's going on. We want to know that you can acknowledge it, and say, hey, guess what? This is going on. This is how we're handling it internally, and this is how we're going to deal with it. Plain and simple.
Well, that's
the
thing.
And if PR, and whoever the PR guy was, if they got a problem with it, they need to kiss somebody's ass, because there's going to be journalists that are going to be in there who are going to ask this. And if this is the open door for content creators or journalists to come in and say and ask these questions, then guess what's going to happen? You're going to get more of this and more of this. And you're not going to be able to start censoring everybody. I'm sorry. You're not.
That's dude. You're inviting them in there, and it's like, well, what do you expect? Like you just stated, but it's like, God dang it, man. Like, you're opening up to the forum. Like, I remember back after WrestleMania 18, and they've said this. I think Mike Johnson of PW Insider has said this. Like, WWE didn't want to have any more of the dirt sheets and all them around. And then it's like, you know, now it's more open to people with the Triple H era, the Paul Levesque era, and getting people in. But yeah, like Triple H didn't like getting the Vince McMahon question. He didn't like getting this question. He got very agitated by it. And I mean, he's not Tony Khan, like dodging. I can't talk about that, but I mean, it is what it is. It's just when you have media in there now, or the quote unquote media, if you will, and you have people like us that want to know this stuff, not just content creators, but also people that, you know, write and do this and write articles and whatnot. It's like, yo, this is the new norm now, unfortunately. So you need to realize what it is, or just could have been handled better from the Paul Levesque side of things. That's it.
Exactly. It could have been handled differently had he worded it differently. And the fact that he threw SRS and he threw PW Insider on under the bus on this, and shout out to our SRS for getting his cheese basket, because that was totally cool that he got his apology from Triple H and WWE. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. A beautiful picture up here. But that was awesome. I mean, at least they acknowledged their where they went wrong, and the fact that these are not just quote unquote dirt sheets that are trying to get that are just trying to get a story. You know, they're legit, and they got people in your company who are giving them the information. So Sean Ross Sapp is getting his information from you guys, from the people in your company. PW Insider are getting their information from people inside of your company. Mm-hmm. So they're legit, incredible. So how does Sean make his money? His Patreon. Why? Because he gets people to subscribe to it. Simple as that. So if you want to know the dirt on everything, or not necessarily dirt, sorry, I shouldn't have used that word. If you want to get information that is a little bit more detailed, subscribe to his Patreon. That's what he wants, because that's what he does. But legitly, Triple H and WWE, their PR department was wrong for all of it, for everything that they said. For everything that Triple H said, he was wrong for it.
Agreed. And I look forward to seeing how it's going to come up now in the future, now that we do have Saudi Arabia coming up, or wherever that they're going to do more of these press conferences. But the thing is, too, I look at it like this, because before we get to the AEWs, the NXTs, and the SmackDowns, because it was, again, very eventful week. And our last show, we got up to last Raw. So with this week, it'll be all of this, and then from Tuesday onward. But one of the things that also has come up, and Paul, thank you for this as well, and now that you have brought this to my attention, WWE Raw has a $25 million solution for USA Network Netflix gap period. The temporary home for WWE Raw will be the same as its former home. Earlier this year, WWE announced that in January 2025, Netflix will be picking up the rights to its longtime Monday night program, whose longtime home has been the USA Network. WWE's parent company TKO announced in its first quarter earnings release that Raw will continue to air on USA from mid-September through the end of the year for $25 million as Netflix ramps up its live streaming infrastructure to serve millions of people worldwide watching the program simultaneously. USA's deal to air Raw has been set to expire in September. There will be more synergy here in WWE in the fall as SmackDown is moving from Fox to USA, and thus for several months, all the weekly episodic programs will have the same home. It was relatively shocking in January when WWE announced that Raw would be moving to Netflix, as a streaming service had not previously been a major player in live sports rights. We are excited to have WWE Raw with its huge and passionate multi-generational fan base on Netflix. Netflix Chief Content Officer Bella Baharia said at the time, by combining our reach, recommendations, and fandom with WWE, we'll be able to deliver more joy and value for their audiences and our members. Raw is the best of sports entertainment, blending great characters and storytelling with live action 52 weeks a year, and we're thrilled to be in this long-term partnership with WWE. Netflix is paying WWE $5 billion in the 10-year pact, which also includes a bulk of the company's global rights. Netflix has the option to opt out of the deal after 5 years, as well as to extend the deal for an additional decade when the initial contract comes up. $25 million, baby, to continue to air on mid-September through the end of the year. Raw ain't going nowhere until January 2025. It is still on the USA Network.
And, of course, they get SmackDown, which moves over, so they'll be perfectly fine. Absolutely. USA Network is getting their fill of WWE, and, of course, that'll continue on, when as it continues on, it doesn't matter. They're making their money. Shoot, give me $25 million. You can broadcast it from wherever the hell you need to. Raw Wrestling Talk on Facebook. That's where you can do it at, right there.
Hell yes, cheap plug. But no, I got to put it out to you, man. Like, when you got $25 million, and I've said this, they're in their hottest period right now. I said last week, they are on fire, in fuego, if you will. But the thing that always gets me is, and we'll move on to AEW now, because this kind of ties into this topic here. It's like they just lost 2 of their international deals for streaming, and Tony Khan is just sitting there. And like, you got to think, what's going on with the Warner Brothers deal? Like, they've been long negotiations here. Like, I'm curious to see if we're still going to have AEW with Warner Brothers. Like, it's going to be very interesting to see where that relationship goes in its own right.
Yeah, pretty soon we're probably going to see it on Reels for all we know.
We shall see, which is not a bad deal in its own right.
I'm just, and that was humor.
I know.
That was my humor. Sorry, my
I'm
bad.
saying, well, you just put
We're
that
going to
into
see it on Telemundo.
You just put into the universe AEW on Reels, so my goodness. But no,
I had to put it somewhere. I had to put it somewhere, man.
I agree, but that brings us to AEW, and okay, so
we're going to see it on the Hallmark channel. That's where we're going to see it at. Spike TV.
Oh my lord! So the Spike TV. So we have Orange Cassidy. We mentioned the Trent Beretta shebang there. The only real big thing that came out of this episode was we're going to have Kenny Omega, who announced that it's going to be Team AEW against Team Elite in the Anarchy in the Arena. It's the Young Bucks, Jack Perry, and Kazuchika Okada against the team of FTR. And they announced their two members, Eddie Kingston and Bryan Danielson, who came back after his bout with Dynasty. Now, not even a follow-up of Will Ospreay. Like, we could have done more with that, more tell the story of him not using the Stormbreaker or the whatever it is now. Was it the Tiger Driver 91 or whatever the hell it is? I think it's the Tiger Driver 91. Like, why? Like, we could have followed up more on that, but no, we're just going to insert Bryan into this match. But yes, I know he has a history with Okada, but, you know, and Eddie Kingston and the Elite have been having their beef, same with the FTR, but it's just like, why? You know, why?
Apparently we forget storylines. That's all it is. Apparently we forget what the hell happened just not more than a month ago over at Dynasty or at Dynasty. Yeah, so we have apparently we forget shit. So, you know, it's AEW, so this is nothing so unusual. The fact that Bryan Danielson is in it. So it makes no sense, but the funny thing is that I guess his ties to Okada, I guess, kind of brings it along. So, and Okada against Kingston. You know, he took his Continental title. You know, and
there's stuff that makes sense, but I mean, you're kind of just like putting to the side the Will Ospreay thing, and I mean, I think it'll be fine. It'll be nuts. You know, it's going to be a nuts match.
At least they didn't put in the learning tree.
Oh, for the love of God. So this week we had Jericho and Big Bill. Tag team action for the first time, nonetheless. And this fool, Chris Jericho, after they beat the enhancement talent. You know, my match with Shibata got a high rating on Cage Match. I know he's trying to be funny, but I don't care about Chris Jericho and Big Bill. This whole thing is so fucking stupid. I know they're going to have Hook back on AEW next week, but this whole thing is so fucking stupid. It's so
you know
stupid.
what? I get Ollie Davis's interest in it. I kind of get it. But it's like it's just not grabbing. It's just not reaching out to me and saying this is something that I gotta watch. This is something that I'm interested in. Much like this Anarchy in the Arena, I'm kind of interested in it, but it's like, yeah. Give me Tony Storm already. Give me Deonna Purrazzo. That'll probably be the only match I want to watch.
Well, they did announce on Collision tonight that it's going to be Adam Copeland and Malachi Black for the TNT Championship at Double or Nothing. And Adam Copeland wants a barbed wire steel cage match, which I'm cool with that. I'm
cool with it. Give me that. MJF comes back and interrupts everybody.
Yes. Now, I'm going to ask you, because this was kind of a controversial thing. I understood the realism that they wanted to go with Serena Deeb's promo. Like, she's been very vocal about it. Like, she's had 3 unprovoked seizures. She had a lot going on in those months, which it's great to see her back. And I know her and Tony are going to have a good match, and she knocked her on her ass this week. But that promo went on and on and on and on. And then you had people chanting, "Let's go Oilers," because they were in Edmonton. They chanted for the hockey team. But that promo was...
I think they were watching the game. That's why I think they were chanting it, because I think they were watching the game.
Yeah, but that promo was very long. What were your thoughts on her promo?
I get she wanted to tell her story. I get she wanted to say what she needed to say.
Right.
But that could have been a sit-down interview with, like...
Renee Paquette.
Yeah. They could have did a sit down interview to have that said, instead of it being, I mean, a recorded interview, mind you, that could have just played, and just a one-on-one interview, getting out her story, getting out her stuff. Feel good. Okay, I'm here for it. But we didn't need Tony Storm out there to have her say anything to her. We didn't. We really didn't.
How she
And the
doesn't
fact
give
that
us.
it went on, is she still talking?
I mean, the fact that Tony Storm doesn't give a solitary shit, as she said, but yeah, no, it's like this episode of Dynamite for me. I mean, Adam Copeland, I'm sorry, and Brody King did their thing in the no DQ. Mercedes Moné did her promo, which fine, but yeah, it's and it's interesting to me because I look at Dynamite too as well. Like we had, I mean, for me, I'm gonna just say this, and again, Swerve and Christian, he'll take everything away from you. There weren't any problems before, but all of a sudden, Brian Cage. I mean, we followed up with it more on Collision tonight, where we're going to get Swerve and Brian Cage next week on Dynamite. But the Gorillas, I almost said the Gorillas of Destiny. God, the Gates of Agony, POD. We'll get to them. The Gates of Agony and Brian Cage, the Mogul Embassy. They imploded. They all of a sudden turned off Swerve. Like nothing of they had problems. Just they could be easily bought by Christian and the Patriarchy and the Young Bucks and whatnot. And they took out Swerve. And I'm like, this makes no goddamn sense. It makes no goddamn sense.
I have a feeling I'm watching ECW. I mean, not ECW, WCW all over again.
This is legit WCW.
This is legit where I'm at right now with what they're doing. The stories, not the wrestling, the story. And I could do with anything without seeing Chris Jericho. And now, mind you, I was a big Chris Jericho fan. I do like him. I really, really do. But just somehow, some way, just none of it. That particular story made no sense. The fact that the embassy turned on Swerve made no sense.
Made no sense.
There was no friction, nothing. It would have been different had Christian approached them backstage, had like a camera caught him talking to them,
and Swerve would be like,
"What would have made more sense." Kind of like a little bit of a dissension or anything, or something like that, And again, long term. You're trying to put all this into one little spot, and it's like it just doesn't make any sense.
Well, you could have had Swerve go up to me like they could have done that, be like, "Hey man, why the hell are you talking to them? What's going on?" Everything like they could have done something like that, but they didn't. They just were like, I could take everything away from you. Then all of a sudden, boom, right to the back, and oh my God, the Mogul Embassy, the Gates of Agony, and Brian Cage are turning on Swerve. Like, all right, like this is kind of out of nowhere, but fine, I guess.
Whatever. I'll go back to I'll reiterate what Bully Ray said.
Hit me.
Creative criticism. If you're gonna and this is my view. Creative criticism. If you're gonna take it, if you're gonna do something and you have it in your mindset that you want to do this, do the polar opposite of what you think should happen. Because I can guarantee you that the thought that you had coming out in your head is not going to come off right to the fans and to critics and to not the casual fans and the people who you are trying to bring in. The 75,000 people or 70,000 people or the 60,000 people who you have watching your show.
Yeah, I mean, this week went from last week it was 703. This week was 711,000 viewers, so it went up a smidge. Not that much though, but I mean, dude, like, and I don't want to keep saying that this product is cold right now. What's cooler than being cool? Ice cold. All right. But this company, man, like this pay-per-view should be fine. Whatever. I mean, we're gonna talk about it like we watched, but we're not hating, but this is legit what we see. Like the wrestling I'm cool with, like you, but the stories, like there's no synergy. There's nothing. Like Chris Jericho, like from when he started in AEW to where we are now, has just been like for me.
It's because it's because his stories haven't been interesting. And and again, we go back to the exact same thing that everybody has an issue with. It's the creative. It's the stories that are being told. They're not interesting. I don't care how many times you stick everybody out there, how many times Tony Khan says AEW is better than WWE. Yes, okay, you may have great matches. You may have them people just eating out of your hands with the amazing matches that you have. But if the stories don't match it, if the stories are not interesting, you might as well just put together a show and not have any stories whatsoever. If you're just gonna just send people out there and just send people out there, go have matches, don't even have anything creative, just that's it. Nothing.
I'll give you another thing that happened. So Roderick Strong and Will Ospreay are supposed to have this big match at the pay-per-view. Roddy and Will weren't even on the show for weeks, but we got them on. But we got him on Collision tonight as Will Ospreay beats Lee Moriarty. Lee Moriarty and Shane Taylor beat him down, so we're gonna have Will Ospreay and Shane Taylor next week on Collision, and the Undisputed Kingdom stand over him. Like that was the only thing we've had for Roddy and Will Ospreay. Like nothing. Nothing. And we're gonna get that at the pay-per-view.
You don't have Roddy. You don't have Adam Cole. You don't have
Wardlow.
You don't have Kyle O'Reilly. You don't have this storyline. But again, I go back to there's this storyline and that storyline and this storyline. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to overlap them this way and going this way and going this way and going this way. You're trying to cross them, but it's like it's not interesting to people. Why is it that Adam Cole isn't there? I get it. He's injured. I get it that he's recovering. Why is he not out there? Why is his face not out there? Because people want to see him, but he's not being shown. Back to everybody who should be on the show is not on the show.
For me, and I'll do another one like this before we move on to NXT and SmackDown. Tony Storm has his match with Serenity, like we mentioned, but they're also kind of like tying into the girl from Stardom, who I'm never going to remember her name, just because she's a cutie beauty too, and she's a good wrestler. But
Mariah May.
No, not Mariah May. The Japanese chick from Stardom.
Mina.
Mina something.
Yeah.
Mina something. I don't mean that's not her last name.
Yeah, I can't remember her last name, but I'll probably butcher it if I say it. So I'll just say Mina.
The girl from Stardom.
But and then she came in to help Mariah May.
Yeah, and then it's like, all right, so are we going to have a thing at Forbidden Door where it's going to be Tony against her for the AEW Women's Championship and Mariah May is in the middle? Like, do I go with my girl from Stardom who I like drinking champagne with and like partying with? Or do I go with Timeless Tony Storm, who I looked up to and I loved, and she's mentoring me? So it's like Mariah May in the middle, smack dab.
Yeah, but why are we taking so long to get to Mariah May versus Tony Storm? It doesn't. That's the thing that's irritating. Again, back to, are we going to get Deonna Purrazzo? Are we going to get Mariah May? Are we going to get anybody else? I mean,
well, we're getting Deonna.
We got Willow facing Mercedes, and why is Mercedes in the mid card division?
So, all right, hold on. So I'll
shout out to Tony Robinson, because she's the exact same thing. She says the exact same thing. Why is this bitch over here taking up time against Willow when she hadn't even wrestled the damn match?
So I'm so glad you brought this up. So with the Tony Storm thing, I will say this. It's like they're taking forever with that. And with Deonna Purrazzo, she's feuding with Thunder Rosa now. So we're going to get that feud and that match coming. But with Mercedes, it's like hasn't been on TV. They cut promos on each other on Dynamite. But all of a sudden, we announced tonight on Collision, next week, Willow Nightingale and Mercedes Moné in a contract signing. Woo!
Next subject, because I'm tired of fucking talking about AEW. No, I'm sorry.
Tired of it too. I'm sorry too.
All right, well, I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna go home now.
You already are home.
Oh, I'm sorry, my bad.
All right, man. So we'll get to the other news. We'll get into NXT next. So we'll start with first of all, the combine for the women and showing them all train this week for the Women's North American title, the ladder match. I loved it. And here's the 12 names that we have now in it. We have Sol Ruca. These are going to be the qualifiers, so we got to get down to 6. Sol Ruca, Thea Hale, Jada Parker, Brinley Reese, Mi Chin, Fallon Henley, Lash Legend, Ivy Nile, Izzy Dame, Kaylani Jordan, Tatum Paxley, and Ren Sinclair.
Okay, don't stop. Don't take this off yet.
Okay.
I want you to give me your 6.
Oh, okay. Sol Ruka, Jada Parker, Mi Chin, Kaylani Jordan, Fallon Henley, and I'll go Thea Hale. I was going to say Tatum Paxley, but I think we're going to get more with her and Roxanne. So those are my 6. Sol Ruka, Thea Hale, Jada Parker, Fallon Henley, Kaylani Jordan, and Mi Chin. Who are you going with?
It's interesting because I like Sol, Thea, Jada, Fallon, Lash, and Tatum Paxley. The only reason why I like those 6 is because I think that they can just burn it down. I think that they'll just go out there. Have nothing against any of the other women, and if you want to throw Meechin in there, I mean, and I'll take out Jada Parker. I'll put Meechin in there because you need a veteran in there. You need a veteran to at least spot everybody that I think she would be good. I don't think she'll win it, but I would like to have a veteran in there to kind of help everybody along. So I could see Meechin being in there. But those would be my 6.
Well, also for the women too, man. Like, I also like that they're focusing on this. We're going to have something with Roxanne, possibly Tatum Paxley. We'll see. I like that it looks like we might get a mixed tag at the pay-per-view with Lola Vice and Shayna against Carmen Petrovic and Natalia. I think that'll be a great ladies tag match. First of all, oh, dude, like the start of NXT got me right in the feels. That video package, and then everybody's cheering, and Wesley's freaking crying, and he's like, I missed this. I'm home. I love each and every one of you. And I'm like, that got me right here. And then he goes out there and has that match with Josh Briggs. And what I like about it, too, as well, from the storytelling side of things, the fact that it looks like we're going to get Obafemi, Wesley, Ivar, and Josh Briggs in a fatal 4-way. Give me some of that.
That's how you tell a story, Tony.
That is how you tell a story. The video package highlighting Wesley's return, then everybody just there. He's emotional. He's crying. He's so happy to be back. He's so happy to be home. And that's how you tell the freaking story. That is how you tell a story.
And you build to it. You build to it. You know, Tony, that's what you do. You build the story. You build it up. You don't tear it apart and move left or right or, do a complete 180 and turn back the other way. It's telling the story. It's, progressing it. That's what you do.
Did you notice?
And shout out to Wesley for being such an amazing talent, dude. I mean, that boy came back from a broken back. So
yes,
dude, shout out to him.
Besides the shout out too, and I'm also excited to mention this to you. Did you notice when they come back from commercial, we hear a in the background, which is signifying the return and re-debut of Wendy Chu?
I can't wait, man. That girl, I'm happy she came back from her little journey that she went on. She is progressing really well. Hey, shout out to Wendy Chu, man. I can't wait for her to get back in that ring.
I also like that they're setting up Tony D, who kidnapped freaking poor Miles Bourne and Damon Kemp at the end of the show. We're set, and Channing Stax Lorenzo was the referee this week, but I am really looking forward to Tony D'Angelo going for the Heritage Cup. I am here for it. I'm entertained, and I don't care who we go against. It'll probably be Charlie Dempsey. I'm here for it because it's going to be really good.
Yeah, I want to see that. That'll be very, very entertaining.
Did you also like, and I will put this out here in the forefront, besides we mentioned Obafemi, and I like how with Nathan Frazier and Axiom, we might be getting something with them and Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. Again, we talk about veterans down there to help against those two. I think that'll be very interesting. I like the Thea Hale whole shebang with Ridge Holland and Lexis King just being that annoying type cat. I think that's going to be good, and can Ridge Holland control his temper and control those urges like we saw this week. And I'm going to say right now, Fallon Henley, she's only been a heel for like a week or two, and she's knocking it out of the freaking park. That match with Kaylani Jordan was good. I'm liking the new heel turn of Fallon Henley.
That's why I said I'm here for everything that Sean is doing down there in NXT, because he's literally just killing it. And the storyline, the stories that are being told, and how they're producing the characters for the show, I mean, there's just next level, literally next level.
Two more things from NXT. I got to bring this up. Trick Williams and Lash Legend is probably my favorite on-screen couple, but we know that they're a couple in real life, but we're hinting at it in storyline. And just the like the things that they're coming up with, the Maury reference, like this Supernova Sessions was awesome. And we get a more vicious side out of Noam Dar, because it shows the evidence of, hey, my foot was on the rope in our match. Noam Dar takes out Trick Williams. Lash Legend was like, why'd you do that? Why'd you do that? So can we possibly be leading towards a babyface turn for Lash Legend? And she leaves, metaphor, and it just turns into like a trio, if you will, with Jakara Jackson, Noam Dar, and, Ora Mensa. So are you looking forward to Noam Dar and Trick Williams for Battleground?
Yes, I am, because I know Noam Dar is really an awesome talent. I mean, he's really, really great. So I'm here for it, man. I mean, and he's a worker too. So and last shout out to him, shout out to Trick and Lash, man. That they're awesome on the mic together. They're awesome, just as, I mean, even though they are a couple in real life, they just bring it in. And if Sean is allowing them to do what they're doing, man, that makes it even better. And it's great. It makes for compelling stories, compelling TV.
I've also said with Noam Dar, because people laugh because they think of Alicia Fox when he first came in and was with 205 Live. Now, I've seen him on NXT UK. Like, that boy has improved a lot. They brought him over to the main roster, and he's funny, but he can be serious, and I like that dichotomy and dynamic there. That's going to make for a great World Championship match. Is he going to win it? No, but it's a good, nice step for Trick Williams in his first title defense. And speaking of title defense, give me more of Chelsea Green on NXT. That interaction with Ariana Grace was hilarious. And Georgina, Gigi Dolan in the middle, can't take this anymore. And just give me more of her, like her and Mr. Stone, if they put her back together, because her and Roxanne was really good this week.
No, it was a far better match than what I expected it to be. And the fact that she went out there and had that nice little banger with freaking with Roxanne just took it over the top. Her and Rob Stone, that'll be awesome. But I would like to see Piper Niven actually get involved in that too. If they're trying to bring them back together again, I would love to see them as as kind of like a trio of some sorts. Hell, throw in Ariana and that'll be even better, as a nice little faction of sorts.
Agreed, man. And I know, folks, as it seems like we get tired of talking AEW, but we see more with the NXT product. And again, I think for us, it's more the storytelling mixed with wrestling. You have to have that fine balance within your professional wrestling craft. But also at the same time, can I just put over the fact that Chelsea Green did the Rough Rider in the match, which I thought was great. I popped huge.
She's been doing it a little bit more often now. Have you noticed that?
Yes, I popped huge though, but that was great.
I think there was a video about a year ago prior to her coming back to WWE where she was practicing it with Matt. And he was teaching her how to do it, and they were practicing. So I shout out to Chelsea for continuing to keep doing it. Homage to her husband,
Yes, sir. That brings us to SmackDown. We'll start with this one. Okay. Piper Niven was in a Queen of the Ring qualifier with Miss Jade Cargill. Holy hell! That match, the power game, the fact that she got her up for the Jaded, like everything about that match was fire. That was a great first singles match for her, one-on-one. That was really
and it showcased exactly the way people see her is. She is powerful. She is very, very strong. So the fact that they're actually producing it and actually allowing her to do this, hey, shout out to Piper for actually taking that, and wanting to do that. And I know they kind of threw them together, but hey, shout out to both of them for killing it.
Can we also just put over the fact that I know this will make Paul happy? Your girl Nia got the win over Naomi. She moves on, so we're good. I know I know. I see her. She's right behind you. We're gonna get Nia and Jade
Hold on,
Cargill.
hold on. There she is. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, my bad.
Nah, you're fine, man. But yeah, as you can see in the background there's Paul with his Nia. That love. Look at the love. Look at the love. But
oh, sorry, my bad. My bad.
Oh my goodness. So we do get more of that interaction from the Rumble like we saw. We're gonna get Jade and Nia. I am here for it. I am wholeheartedly here for it. And we also get a lot of great action. We have Tiffany and Michin still to come. We have, what was the other female one from SmackDown that I'm blanking on? Oh my god. No, it's not Zelina and Shayna.
It's no, because that one was on
that was on the house show.
That
was
on a house show.
Yeah,
Bianca,
right.
Yeah, Bianca Belair. Sorry, my bad.
No, you're good. Bianca and Candice was good. You knew where it was going, but Candice had a good showing, and Indy.
Yeah, and so on the house show, what the Tiffany Stratton actually won, and so did LA Knight. Yeah.
So this brings us to first of all, I like Randy's promo talk about he's going to get revenge on Tama for what he did. Now, can we just point out before we get to the other matches, and I am loving the fact that we got a little Tongaloa, Tama Tonga, and Solo Sikoa with Paul Heyman in the back. He goes, so you haven't talked to Roman since Mania? No. Well, I have. And now I am the interim tribal chief of the Bloodline.
No. He said he was the tribal chief until Roman gets back.
Thank you.
But you kind of saw that look that was on his face, though, while he was hugging, and you're my wise man now.
Yep. And that look
he's
was
over there hugging him, and he's just like,
I got him.
I see you, Solo.
It's the whole. Now, I'm going to say this. When he said, well, I talked to Roman, and he said this, did he really talk to Roman, or did he talk to Roman? Like, did he take Roman?
Yeah, what's up? What's up, fool? You heard me. You heard me.
You heard me. So it's heard me. So I like that. And I like Tongaloa in the suit. Like, they all look like badasses, and they freaking mollywop poor Angelo Dawkins. Oh, he got the Tama Tonga moves on, and he's going to face, like you mentioned now, LA Knight, who beat Santos Escobar on the house show. I'm for it.
No, and he beat him. He beat Santos, so that was tonight. So shout out to since we're recording this on a Saturday, yes, it was tonight. Yes, and like I said, Tiffany Stratton won too. So
Tiffany and Bianca.
There's your update on the winners for the King and Queen of the Ring. So
yeah. Well, that's going to be good. We got Tiffany and Bianca. We got Jade and Nia. What I do also like too as well, and I'm going to put this over. I mean, poor Bobby Lashley got injured in training, so Angelo took his spot. But I've been really enjoying what they've been doing, like the video packages. Again, we talk about.
Is he really injured, or is this just kind of a way of protecting him and protecting Tama Tonga? Because were we really going to put over Tama Tonga over Lashley?
Well,
inquiring minds would like to know what your opinion is.
Inquiring minds want to know. Well, I think if it's not, it is a definite great way to protect him. And I mean, they teased a Bobby Lashley Carmelo Hayes feud, which is it weird to see Baron Corbin getting cheered and slapping hands with the people? Like, it's so weird now to see him as a baby face, and Carmelo Hayes wound up beating Baron Corbin. And Randy, first of all, Randy and AJ freaking killed it in the main event. That match was so good. And then
it was really, really good. I didn't think it was, and I mind you, they're in their 40s, so I wasn't expecting it to be so much of a banger. But goddamn, these two went out there and whooped each other's asses.
And I think also what I did like, besides, again, great action, the storytelling, like we go back to storytelling for a second, how they had the video packages for Andrade, Blair Davenport, Nakamura. That is how you tell the story and how you advertise people going to the brand. Like, all of that was great. Like, that is what you need to do, Tony, to reiterate that point earlier. That's how you build it.
That's how you do it. That's how you do it, Tony. See, stories are supposed to make sense. And when they do make sense and they work, people get interested, Tony. learn. And from a wrestling fan, from a dude that likes to say, I'm a wrestling fan. I grew up watching wrestling. I grew up watching, and I know this and I know that. Great. Then you would know that the storylines need to make sense, Tony. I don't care if you have great matches. I'm glad you have great matches. If you want to say AEW is better than WWE, fine. That's fine. But make the stories make sense, dude. Come on now.
Come on, man. But one other thing from SmackDown, and I saw the online backlashes, which is ridiculous. It's like, why are we getting Cody Rhodes versus Logan Paul in a champion versus champion match? Now, this goes to people asking, what's the story? Cody Rhodes returned in they said it. Cody Rhodes returned in 2022 at WrestleMania. Logan Paul made his in-ring debut at WrestleMania. Cody Rhodes won the 2023 Royal Rumble. Logan Paul Ricochet had that moment in the Royal Rumble. Who eliminated Logan Paul in the 2023 Royal Rumble? Cody Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes.
There's your story.
Where's Cody's? What was Cody's tweet? Cody 2 belts.
Yep. Now, is it just
Unagi.
champion versus? Yes. Now, now it's just a champion versus champion. There's no title on the line.
I know. There's no title on the line.
Yes, but for me, if the story was to make sense, you have Logan go over here, and then they do the title match in Scotland. That's all I would do. What do you think?
I think if Logan, again, back to something, it has to make sense. It has to make sense for it to happen. Now, are we going to get KSI or one of the other YouTuber friends that come out and Sideshow Bob or whatever the hell his name is? And, whatever the hell his name is. IP freely for all I know. Anyways, are we going to get somebody to come out, interfere, and then all of a sudden he goes over? Again, back to the Saudi match last year where he was taking on Roman Reigns. Now this year we're gonna get him and Cody, which is again back to him facing a champion.
Mm-hmm.
So if he goes over, can he say, "Well, I beat him. Now I get a championship match"? Maybe. We're gonna probably get Logan 2 belts, but it's only gonna be 1 belt that's gonna be on the line. So Money in the Bank.
Yeah, I mean, whatever they do, I'm excited for it. And also the fact that Cody called him a dumbass, which I thought was great. And he called that guy yelling at him a virgin inbred. The man, you can hate Logan Paul for being a scumbag outside the ring, but as a wrestler, he gets it. He gets it. Like, you got to respect that, man.
And that's all you have to do is know that he gets it. He gets it all the damn time.
Now, one final thing. The QR code again did happen during the Nia Jax match. If you've seen it, so it's pretty much more like, we're going to, you'll understand why we're doing this. We've been cast aside for far too long. So right now, the rumored members of this Wyatt Six, it's Uncle Howdy, Bo Dallas, Eric Rowan, Nikki Cross, and the number 4, Dexter Lumis, which makes sense because they're all nutty in their own respective way. There is talk of Joe Gacy being in it, which I'm for. Who would you have for the 6th member? Not Matt Hardy?
I think if they're really bound and determined to have that crossover with TNA, I would say Matt Hardy. I honestly would. I honestly think because he was tag team partners with Bray.
Right. Had the feud with Bray.
He had the feud with Bray. And he had a relationship with Bray. So I think that would make more sense. So shout out. So hopefully we get what we kind of have in our own little warped minds. Hopefully we get it. But you mentioned the 6 you mentioned, perfectly fine by me. And shout out to Nikki Cross. Shout out to Nikki Cross for getting her damn bachelor's degree. Now all she needs is to get her pimp and hose degree, and she's perfectly fine. I mean, her PhD. Sorry, my bad. Actually, she's going for her doctorate, isn't she?
Yes, that woman is
She got her pimp and hose degree. Sorry, my bad.
That woman is
shout out to Nikki. You know, her and Dano doing their damn thing. You know what I'm saying? It's all love.
All love to Nikki Cross and Killian Dame at Big Damo. Again, that woman is a smart lady, and I cannot wait to see her involvement in this. And I'm just excited for wrestling, man. We have 2 more weeks before we get to Saudi Arabia for WWE's King and Queen of the Ring tournament, which starts here at around noon or 1 p.m. my time, and it starts at Paul's 9, 10 a.m. in the morning on a Saturday.
I'll be having breakfast and coffee and whatever else. Hey, I am perfectly fine with it starting at 9 a.m. Breakfast with WWE, almost like breakfast at Wimbledon, just breakfast with WWE. That's perfectly fine by me.
And then the following night at 8 p.m. or 7, whenever it starts, till midnight, 12:30, depending on how long the media scrum goes. AEW's a Double or Nothing, the anniversary of AEW. Are you ready for Tony to have a meltdown? Those fucking assholes! Why are they doing more for me? We're the talk of the weekend.
Oh my god!
Ready for the meltdown?
I'm not ready. I'm not ready for it.
Those bald assholes! Go fuck yourselves!
I'm not ready for it. It's Tony.
Tony.
I'll just watch the pay-per-view, find out some good matches, and that'll be it. I don't watch the media scrum because I'll watch the clips like later on.
Well, you know what
that pop up on Twitter. That'll be the only time I'll actually watch the media scrum.
Well, you know what he's gonna say. Everything's great. Adam Hopkins, can I have some water, please? I need some more water. So we'll be talking all of that within the next week or 2. Thank you for listening to another edition of the Weekly Review. If you want to hear our last episode from last week, which aired on Monday on my channel, go back and watch that. And this will air sometime this weekend or probably tomorrow or Monday, early this week. So check us out. You can check out Paul Morales where? Promote the social media, sir.
Oh, that's what you wanted me to do. Oh, you usually toss it to me and tell me all kinds of good stuff and, compliment me and tell me how handsome I am or something like that. You usually tell me that. Anyways, you can find me on X, on TikTok, on YouTube. That name right there. Deadman of RWT. You can also find me on the RWT Facebook page, which will be in the link below. And of course, Mr. Michael Larkin, your turn.
So if you want to follow me on Twitter, SMShow1 or MCL92, Larkin_92, MLarkinMB on the Instagram front, StephenMikeShow.com, LFCfights.com. You can check out my YouTube, Mike Larkin92. Subscribe away. Check out Deep Into the Heart of Wrestling, the newest episode with Robert Davis and Nicola and I talking about the one, the only Tessa Blanchard. You can listen to Paul and I do the weekly review. You can listen to the Stephen Mike Show. You can listen to the Golden Age Everything. You can listen to the Pop Culture History Podcast on the Mike with Mike and Beauty, Strength, and Dominance, the official LFC Lingerie Fighting Championships podcast for all of your needs. And we will be back next week for another edition of the weekly review. More King and Queen of the Ring action, more contract signings on AEW, more Kyle Fletcher and Jeff Cobb against Moxley and Claudio, more Swerve and Brian Cage, more NXT for your deeds. Friggin', oh my goodness. It's going to be an interesting week in wrestling. So bottom line.
Yeah. Any other news stories, believe me, we will pop them out here. Believe me, we will talk about it. AEW, WWE, all the shows, everything. Oh, and we might actually throw in some New Japan because, of course, Strong was tonight here in LA. So shout out to Gabe Kidd, who decided to open his mouth on local TV here. On local TV here. Hey, you know what? Hey, we'll do that clip next week. Hey, we'll do it because we'll add that with everything else we'll talk about, because he's laughing because he knows what the hell I'm talking about. But next week we will be here, of course, Mr. Michael Larkin, myself, the Dead Man of RWT. We'll be here, and of course, I will shout you out because you know what? I'm like that.
Thank you. I love you, man. So we'll talk about that next week. We'll talk about that next week. For Paul Morales, my name is Mike Larkin. We'll see you next weekend. Tony, tell a goddamn story.
Yep.